Just a heads up, we're going to be talking about contrails today, and I'm going to say the word moist a lot. Moist. Hey everyone, Julian here for D News. Every now and then you'll look up and see thin white clouds streaking across the sky. As most of you know, those come from airplanes, but you may be wondering how they form or what they're made of. Now, some might have you think that contrails are chemicals dumped into the air by the government to control your mind and make you download Pokemon Go. But as it turns out, they're just ice. Ice, baby. For the most part. See, ice crystals form more easily when water vapor has a seed it can latch onto and start crystallizing. If you've ever done that fun experiment at home where you cool distilled water past 0 degrees Celsius and then dunk an ice cube in it to instantly freeze the whole thing, you might know what I'm talking about. Aircraft exhaust consists of CO2, water vapor, nitrous oxides, carbon monoxide, sulfates, hydrocarbons, soot, and metal flakes. Some of those aerosols are just the ice cube needed for larger ice crystals to grow. Actually, aircraft exhaust provides more than just the starting point for water vapor in the air to condensate. It actually adds more water vapor. Jet fuel, like the gasoline in your car, is made up predominantly of hydrocarbons. Hydrocarbons, as the name implies, are molecules of hydrogen and carbon. When they're mixed with oxygen and combusted, the chemical products are carbon dioxide and H2O. You know that water dripping out of your muffler? Same concept. So exploding jet fuel contributes more water to the air, upping the moisture past its saturation point and kicking off the ice-forming process. At least that's how it happens when the ambient air is already moist and cold enough. If it's too dry or warm, you'll get no contrails at all. The moisture also determines how long the contrails stick around for. As the exhaust cools, if it's just barely in the moisture threshold, contrails will form and then disappear after a few minutes. If the ambient air was more moist to begin with, they'll persist, sometimes even spreading out as a sheet with the wind. You may have seen contrail cousins like wisps left by wingtips. Obviously, those aren't caused by jet exhaust, but they are caused by a drop in air pressure. At high angles of attack, like during takeoff or during high-G maneuvers, the wingtip boundary stirs up a vortex, and the vortex drops the pressure. When pressure drops, temperature drops. So even though the moisture level hasn't changed, the air is now cold enough to become a liquid, although briefly. Now, I know I can practically hear some of the comments already claiming that contrails are one big fat conspiracy and I'm a shill or a sheeple or sheep person. What is the singular form of sheeple? Anyway, the evidence would suggest otherwise. There are actual airplanes that intentionally dump out chemicals like crop dusters or aerial acrobatic teams like the RAF's Red Arrows that use smoke effects. The Red Arrows actually make smoke by dumping diesel directly into the exhaust, so it sounds pretty similar to how chemtrails are purported to work. But these mists or plumes of smoke can be seen directly behind the nozzles or engine. Since contrails are formed by freezing water, there's a gap between the engine and the trail. At 8 kilometers up, it's mighty cold, less than -40 degrees Celsius, but it still takes some time to cool the hot exhaust gases to freezing, hence the evidence that it's just ice. Much as I like thinking about conspiracies, they're almost never true. Almost. Yet people still believe them. To find out why, I explored in another video here. Ramsey theory is the mathematical principle that basically says given a data set large enough, you can find just about any pattern you like. And then the principle of confirmation bias, where we tend to only seek out information that agrees with what we already believe, brings psychology into the mix, rounding out the scientific conspiracy that makes you believe in conspiracies. Seriously, what is the singular form of sheeple? Let me know in the comments along with any other questions you might have. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you next time on D News.